welcome back to the Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with a bit of an update, really, just in terms of breaking news from Newcastle United. The club has officially announced its release players list, and there's a couple of names in there that have stuck out in particular. So I thought we'd just jump on and do a little bit of a reaction video about these players and just thank them for their time at the club. And then obviously talk a little bit about them moving on as well. Just before we do, a little reminder, if you have just checked us out for the first time, hello, welcome on board. Click that button, come and join us. We're over 3,800 subs. We've got loads of room for you, so come and join the party. Loads of content over the close season. Hopefully get us to 4K by the time the season starts. That is the goal. That is the plan. So smash that button and come and join us. So what we're talking about, yes, we're talking about the players released by the football club. So it was inevitable that we've had a lot of players that haven't really been involved in the squad a great deal. Players that have been out on loan, players whose futures been under question, players who have long-term injuries with their contracts running down. So these names don't surprise me. Some of them disappoint me a little bit, but they don't surprise me. So let's get stuck into them then. The first name that jumps out for everybody is Kieran Clark. Now, Kieran Clark served the club really well. He was a key member of the squad, playing for us in the championship and getting us back up. Did all right for us in the Premier League as well when we got back, but I think he found out quite quickly maybe that the Premier League was just evolving a little bit beyond his level. What Kieran Clark is ironically probably the most famous for now during his time at Newcastle United, despite everything that he's done throughout his whole career and his time here, is this infamous red card that he got against Norwich when we needed him the most, and everybody was foaming at the time. So he got a red card against Norwich, and because of that, Joe Linton had to drop into a defensive midfield position, and the rest was history. That thus was the birth of Joe Linton, the midfield enforcer. So Kieran Clark will forever be remembered for that sliding door moment, that Thanos snap moment when he helped Joe Linton become this unbelievable player. So thank you very much, Kieran Clark. Just to let you know, Kieran Clark did play 114 times for us with 11 goals. So he had a good return, he had a good shift as Kieran Clark. So, we wish him well. He's been on loan at Sheffield United. I think he's done all right there. So I don't think he'll struggle to find a club, to be brutally honest with you. I think Kieran Clark will be a good championship defender, possibly a team coming up to the Premiership. Maybe he's got Premier League experience with Aston Villa as well. So, and us. So, good luck to Kieran Clark, 33 years old. Maybe got a couple of years left in him. Good luck to Kieran Clark, and we'll see where he goes. One of the players who has been released, and this hurts me a little bit, this one, I must admit. People are divided on this, how they feel about it. But this player really hurts me, the fact that he's gone and the way he's gone. So if you don't know who that crazy lad is, jumping up, fist pump in the air with his shock red hair, that is Matty Longstaff. That is Sean Longstaff's younger brother, who burst onto the scene. I know Mika Richards gets the piss taken out of him for that, but Matty Longstaff 100% burst onto the scene at Newcastle United in that game against Manchester United. Looked every inch an absolute superstar in the making. We all thought he was going to be better than his brother. And obviously, he was sadly completely and utterly bruised by the former manager, the Baron of Bacon, who basically, after this amazing performance against Manchester United, just stuck him in cryostasis and never really played him. I think he had a handful of games, and every time Matty seemed to play, I thought he did all right. You know what I mean? He got another goal against Man United, took it really well down at Old Trafford. He played in some huge games, played against Arsenal, St James's, I think, City, Liverpool, and he never looked out of place, comfortable on the ball, neat and tidy little player, wasn't scared to go looking for it, played alongside Isaac Hayden, I think, really under pressure, against some quality midfielders, but certainly didn't look awful as a footballer. But again, Bruce just sent him out, cryostasis, and he was in, he was out. He went alone. Aberdeen didn't really quite work for him. He come back. I think he got injured again, and he went down to Mansfield, I think it was, got all the way to Wembley in a playoff final. Lost the playoff final. Went to Colchester on loan, just as his contract was kind of running at the end, just as Eddie Howe was coming in. Just as Eddie Howe was making Sean a better player, with the coaching and the one-to-one that he did and everything else. And I was really hoping that Matty would have a good loan spell at Colchester, come back, and maybe Howe would just extend his contract by a year, maybe give him a bit of coaching and bring back that player that we saw against Manchester United. But sadly, he ruptured his cruciate, Matty, and that was the end of that, really. And I don't think he was ever really going to be kept on by the club. I will say one thing about Eddie Howe and the club right now. Class acts, they're helping Matty with his recovery, even though he's not a player. They're going to keep in the future. They're helping him. They're letting him use all the facilities. He's been at the club since he was about 8 years old or something. It's only the right thing to do. I know Eddie Howe's playing career got cut short by an injury, so I think he's, he empathises with Matty in that regard. And I really hope Matty goes on and has a good career he maybe drops down to the Championship or League One, and there's a good player in there. Listen, there's a really good player in there. He's tenacious. He's not scared to stick a foot in. He's got a great range of passing on him. We know he can score goals. He's got a great shot on him, and the ability to find the back of the net. So I really hope Matty finds a club, and he can just start again, and he can build himself back up. There's loads of players who have done that. Have left Premier League clubs, gone down through the leagues, and come back up. People played non-league football. Jared Bowen at West Ham, prime example, non-league football a few years ago, scoring in the European final the other night. So it's not over for Matty in his career. I really hope he comes back strong from that injury, and comes back and has a good career. And I think everyone's got to wish Matty all the best. He's a local lad. It's such a shame that it's not worked for him at Newcastle. I'm gutted by it. I think he was massively failed by the club, certainly by the management at that time, if you want to call it that. The sad excuse of a baron of bacon, cabbage-headed twat that was Steve Bruce, who ruined this kid's career after giving him his big break as well. Dreadful management. Let's pray to God that this fat prick doesn't come back and ruin any other young lads' careers like he did Matty Longstaff. Good luck, Matty, with whatever you're doing, mate. I hope you find a club. He seems like a top lad as well, from everything I've heard about him as well. And hopefully he will find himself a club, and he'll come back strong, and we might see him in an FA Cup tie or something. You never know, we might even sign him back at some point in the future if he turns out to be a world beater. But good luck to Matty moving forward. There's been a few other players as well being released as well in terms of the list there. Going through more kind of reserve players, really, the likes of Harry Barkley, Niall Brockwell, Joe Oliver, Josh Stewart, Isaac Westendorf. They've just all been kind of let go because obviously, it doesn't look like it's going to work for them at Newcastle United. Hopefully, they'll move on and find other clubs. But I don't know a lot about those players, to be fair. But I think good luck to anybody who's obviously being released by the club. It isn't the end of it. Likes of Jamie Vardy's a shining example of that. He's even set up his own academy for that as well. Players who get let go, and then go and have great careers elsewhere. So hopefully, these lads can do that. And good luck to them in their footballing career going forward. There has been some extensions offered, which may raise a few eyebrows, to be honest with you. So let's get into the first one. So Paul Dummett, in the words of Buzzcocks, I do miss that guy. Where's he gone? Where the fuck's he been for 10 years, as he would say? Yeah, Paul Dummett is still a Newcastle player, believe it or not. Seems like he's been here for 400 years, and his body seems to also reflect he's been here for 400 years. He's been perpetually injured for a long time, but he never lets you down, does Dummy, to be fair. He's a steady way player, can play centre-half, play left-back, and I think with the Champions League coming, I can understand this one by giving him an extra year's extension. I personally think that Dummett will end up as part of the coaching setup, whether it be the academy or the reserves or whatever. I think he's black and white through and through. I don't think he'll leave this club and go play for somebody else. I think he'll retire and become, an academy coach. And if he can pass on what he's learned to the young lads, and fair play, he's a good pro. Is Dummett. I think he's just been very unlucky with injuries. But I can understand why he has been offered another year's extension. Likewise, this handsome devil here, Loris Karius, yes, he played in the cup final. Wasn't his fault really for the goals, to be fair to Karius. He's very, rusty, I think, in terms of his football and game time. But I'm all for this, to be fair, because I certainly think that Darlow will be on his bike. Maybe Dubravka possibly get sold as well, because the story's about offering Gillespie an extension as well. Gillespie seems a great crack, by the way. I don't know how good he is as a goalkeeper. I'm not sure we're ever going to see it, but he seems a fantastic bloke. So he's maybe getting an extension as well. But yeah, I understand Karius getting an extension. He's a free agent as well. We took him on as a free agent, that he's been coached, training around the ground, how and that will know exactly what he's all about. So, and he's got experience as well. He's played for big Bundesliga teams in Liverpool. So I think he's a good reserve keeper to have if anything, God forbid, happens to Nick Pope, or he goes mad again for a moment and gets a red card. So yeah, I can understand the Karius one. The next one I can't quite understand is this fella here. Yes, the assassinator of corner flags. There's Matt Ritchie himself. Now, I'll get this on record before I say my piece here. I like Matt Ritchie. As a player, he served us extremely well. He was integral in his getting out of the Championship. He was a brilliant player, a leader, scored goals, created goals. Was good when he come back in the Premier League. Even when his legs started to wobble a bit, he filled in at left back excellently. He pumps the team up. In lockdown football, all you could hear was Matt Ritchie screaming. It was like Matt Ritchie TV. He's a real leader, and I think he'll be a fantastic coach or manager very soon as well. But he is not getting any younger, is Matt Ritchie. And that's the bit that kind of I'm a little bit perplexed about. So offering Matt Ritchie an extension, a 1-year extension of his contract, I don't quite understand. I mean, he's 33 years old, like Kieran Clark. I'm not actually sure what more he can offer you, to be honest with you. I think the mind is willing, but I don't think the body is willing. I mean, he's had 174 appearances with Matt Ritchie and 19 goals for us since 2016. And I do think he's part of that leadership crew that smash my microphone there. Leadership crew that Howard trusts and is in place. I think if he steps into the coaching setup, I understand that. But if he's a player coach, make him a player coach, and it frees up a squad place in 25. I'm disappointed that a 22-year-old lad isn't, maybe given another chance with a year extension over a 33-year-old whose better days are behind him. Yes, I know Matty's not quite lived up to the hype, and the loan moves haven't worked, the injuries and everything else. But personally, myself, I would rather see Matty Longstaff given a chance for another year than Matt Ritchie. I don't think Matt Ritchie can really bring us anything else. Yes, he's a good pro in that, but the Premier League is getting faster and faster. Having Matt Ritchie at left back in the Champions League would scare the living piss out of me, because it's just a red card waiting to happen. I think you would get absolutely ripped to pieces. I'm getting flashbacks to Gareth Bale tearing Mike on to pieces for Inter Milan. That's just one for you, Di, if you're watching. But yeah, I don't get it. I really don't understand it. I think he's a brilliant leader. I mean, the stuff that he did for Sean as well when he was feeling low, and he seems like a brilliant bloke and a brilliant guy to have around the squad in terms of his mentality and and everything else, that he is a leader. But he can't really do anything on the pitch anymore, so I don't get it. Make him a coach, yes, but a player in the 25, I'm not sure about that, to be honest with you. And we are going to be signing other players as well, so maybe he'll drop out the 25, you don't know. But it just seems a bit weird to me. It really does. I know everyone's talking about this homegrown quota and all that kind of stuff, but we've got a lot of homegrown players. You got Longstaff, you got Anderson, you got Dummett there as well. Dan Burn technically can be homegrown because he was at a youth academy when he was younger. All the players that were basically at English academies when they were younger, a class as homegrown players. You have home club players where you're talking about Dummett, Longstaff, Anderson. People were going mad talking about bringing back Tim Krul and Forster and all that, because they were trained at the club, and that ticks a box and fills a quota for the Champions League. But you don't want to go into the Champions League with a squad that was all right 10 years ago. You're just bringing them back because we trained them. Back at Benton 10 years ago. I don't get that. But yeah, the Matt Ritchie one, I'm a little bit unsure about that one, if I'm brutally honest with you. But that's the list of players in terms of who's in and who's out. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below, whether you agree or disagree with those players. If you agree or disagree with what I'm saying about likes of Matty Longstaff and everything else. So just one more thing as well, that Dan Burn, no surprise, has already actioned or unlocked the extra contract extension by appearances, and it's great for Dan Burn because Dan Burn's mint. We love Dan Burn. He can play left back, he can play centre half. He's from Blythe, and we love him because he's class. So I'm happy with Dan Burn getting an extension, obviously. But yeah, the rest of the guys, let us know what you think in the comments below. Whether you think maybe missed a trick there, or maybe prematurely ending somebody's contract, or you think that's about right. Really, if there's anybody else you thought you want to see move on as well, I'm not talking about transfers; they'll come. Pretty sure, as the squad takes shape over the summer, and we'll be all over that as well with the breaking news, if any breaks in terms of players leaving the club and everything else. But that's me pretty much done for this episode. I hope you liked it, guys. If you do, smash that like, help the video get around YouTube, help the channel grow. Subscribe if you fancy seeing a bit more of this. Smash that notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos. That's me done for now. As I say, we'll be back with loads more Newcastle United content soon. Keep tuned to the channel, and we'll see you later. Cheers.